We'll start adding some information boxes. I'm going to start with the information box called text. The text box is the most basic information box, type of information box, and all the other information boxes are pretty much the same as this with some variations. Every information box has a heading, which is the title at the top of the information box. With the heading, you've got a formatting toolbox at the top of the screen which allows you to change the way it looks. For example, you could take the heading and maybe change the size to be a little larger. You might take the heading and make it bold. So you can make various changes. You can even center it if you wanted to, highlight the text and center it, right justify it, fully justify it, left justify it, etc. As well as having text in the main heading, you can also include images. To include an image, you click the image icon in the formatting box, and there's two ways of attaching an image. You can either enter the virtual address of the image, if you know the virtual address of an image, or you can use upload, which allows you to take a file you've got stored in your local network or on your local computer and copy it into LearnPath. In this case, I'm going to choose a file. I've got some files stored, otherwise I might choose the bookworm image, open it up and send it to the server, followed by OK. So now I've got the bookworm image in my heading. The image is a little large, so I can resize the image by positioning my mouse cursor in the bottom right hand corner, holding down the button and just dragging the mouse until it's the suitable size. But there's the heading. You can change the colour of the heading background, and the three options are either use the theme specified colour, which is the colour scheme throughout Oliver. You can use a specific colour using a picker, or you can have guide specific colours. So I could actually set a colour scheme for all the headings for all the training guides. In this case, I'm going to use a theme, not theme specified, I'm going to use a colour picker and choose maybe a dark yellow and click choose. Each information box has a text area, which is just an area we can type in information. So that you can either put just plain text in there, you can put images in there. So again, I'll choose another image the same way by clicking the image icon, upload, choose a file, and grab an image. Send it to the server, and OK. As well as text and images, you can also include links to websites. To insert a link to a website, type in a word or phrase you'd like to be a link to the website, highlight the text with your mouse, and in the formatting toolbox, click the link button. Enter the web address, and you can specify the target or how the website will open up. In this case, I'll click on the target option and choose open as a pop-up window. Just to repeat that process, I'll do it for another short website, highlight the word or phrase, click the link button, and enter the web address. It's a good idea to change the target, and in this case I'll make it a pop-up window. By making the pop-up window its target, it means when you click on the website, it'll open up as a separate window so it won't lose your place in LearnPath. You can also change the colour of the background of the main text box by choosing a content background. I'm going to leave it as white today. When you're adding information boxes to LearnPath, if you're not quite finished or it's not quite ready yet, you could untick the box which says Show in LearnPath, which is essentially hiding it. In this case, we'll leave it showing for now. And click Save. There's my plain text box. Any new information boxes you add are added to the bottom of the screen, which means that they won't affect any formatting or layout that you've already done. And if you need to resize or reposition an information box, you can edit the guide, change the layout, and resize or reposition as necessary. And click Save once you're done. The website is a clickable link. Opens as a pop-up window. The other website is a clickable link. Again, opens as a pop-up window. If you want to see what the page looks like without all the editing tools, click the preview guides in the top left-hand corner, and you can see what it looks like for everyone without all the editing tools. And return to editing when you want to see it again. That's a plain text box. Like all information boxes in LearnPath, you can have as many different boxes as you like. So you can have as many different text boxes as you like, as many different media boxes as you like. You're not restricted to one text box per guide. So text box is useful for displaying just some maybe links to websites or information about a topic. Next type of information box I'll show is an image box. An image box is very similar to a text box. As you can see, when you add an image box, you've still got a heading background, text, content background, so exactly the same fields, but there's some extra fields at the top which allow you to put in an image and put a web address and some alternative text. The main advantage of an image box is it's easy to reposition and resize and lock the image in different places on the screen and wrap text around it. In this case, I'm going to browse for an image and just choose an image that I want there. And I'll just choose image down the bottom there. Click on open, the image appears. The image is resizable by using arrows on each corner. Just hold down the mouse. And when you hold down the mouse, you can move it. There we go, you can resize like that. And when you hold down the mouse on the actual image itself, you can lock it in the top left position, the top position, top right, to the right, centered, or to the left. Wherever you position the image, text can wrap around it. If you put the text in the center, you can't wrap text around it, but it's easily resizable and easily lockable at certain positions on the screen. If you'd like the image to be a link to a website, in the web address URL, you can type in the address. So that the image would be a clickable link. And good web practice says whenever you put images on a website, it's a good idea to have some alternative text in case the image doesn't display properly, or if the person accessing the site can't see the image properly. At least when they hover over where the image should be, they get an indication of what the image would be. And finally, you add the other information. I'm just going to call this a sample image. That's the heading, the text, so type some text in. Again, it could be text, images, links to websites, etc. And click Save at the top of the screen. As you can see, the image is displayed in the lock position and the text will wrap around it. Again, you'd edit the guide and change the layout and put in the correct position and resize as necessary. And of course, you can have multiple image information boxes if you need to. The file box. The file information box allows you to provide access to an electronic document, such as a Word document, a PDF document, an image, a PowerPoint presentation, Excel spreadsheet, even a sound file. So if you need to provide access to an electronic document of virtually any format, you can upload it in an information box. I'm going to call mine a sample file, actual sample PDF. And the file information box is identical to the text information box. The only difference is you have an extra field, which is the file upload. And this allows you to select which file you'd like to provide access to. I'm going to choose a file. In this case, I'm going to choose the rock cycle fact sheet. If you need to, you put some text to describe what the file is all about. Click on Save. And in this case, you can see the rock cycle worksheet here. I'll just reposition it before I talk a little bit more. I'll change the layout, put it up there, and I'll make it a little larger. As you can see, because I've selected a PDF, I can actually read the PDF inside the information box. So this is PDF format's excellent for things like issues in society articles, just general articles, assignment specifications, worksheets, library policy documents, anything like this in PDF format. So if the document is in PDF format and it's not too large, not too large a size, it can be viewed, what we call it, embedded in the information box. I'm just going to add another file now. I'll add a new information box, another file. This time I'll choose a larger file. Click on Choose File. This time I'll choose a slightly larger file. This is a free ebook by Matthew Riley. And click Save. And just reposition that box so you can see it. It's currently displayed at the bottom of the screen. And save that. Okay, I've chosen a file that still works okay. If the file was too large, instead of the PDF file being visible on the screen and readable, I'll add another one. I'll choose something that's not. PDF file, I'll choose a file, and I'll just go and grab one of those. And save that. So if the file is too large, or if it's not a PDF or a Word, a PDF or an image, it will be just a clickable link. You can see in the bottom right hand corner the sample PowerPoint, it's just a clickable link. Clicking that link will allow that file to be opened up. And in this case, you'd probably put some text around it. I'll edit the information box. Some text around just to give a description. And I'll change the layout so it's editable. So it's viewable, I should say. Just pop it in there and resize it a little bit. There you go. So if you choose something that's not a PDF file or not an image or is too large, it'll be a clickable link instead. Now when I say too large, I'll click on Edit to show you this. Associated with the file upload is a maximum size of the file that can be embedded. And that's controlled with parameter 4259, embedded file max size. This means if the PDF file or image you're trying to display is larger than this parameter allows, it will display as a link. In the case of the two PDF files we put up there, the ebook and the PDF, ebook and the information sheet, they're both within the limits of that file size. That's parameter 4259, and look at this parameter later. Essentially, it determines the maximum size of a file that can be embedded if it's a PDF or an image. You notice that the more information boxes you add to the screen, the more cluttered it becomes, and eventually you'll have to start to scroll down to see more information.